from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are talking about manifesting your dreams, and how do we do that? Well, it's time to reach out to Diana Bejasa. She's our Burn Through Catalyst, and she's also a speaker, a coach, and author. Fueling your fire, don't burn it out. We're going to talk today about all she does as a healer and author of Manifest Your Dreams, and again, co-founder of the Body Positivity Podcast. She joins us today live from Hawaii, and I don't really say that ever. So this is exciting because she's one of our guests that lives in a dream world, at least to me. I've never been. So waking up there every day's got to be beautiful. But I'm assuming normal things happen, like you still get sick, right?
Yeah, yep. I missed a couple of the last episodes. You can probably hear I'm not 100% yet. But I just feel like, the best way to talk about how we just got to keep going is to show up and to keep going. And so I'm going to walk the walk. I'm not just going to talk the talk.
Got it. No, we're excited that you're here. And I know for today, we'll jump right to it. Feel free to take as many drinks or breaks as you need. We are talking about trust. You say, trust me, your willpower isn't the problem. What is today's conversation all about?
Well, it's the start of February, and this is when most New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals fail. So whether you're watching this in February or if you're watching it at another time and you're looking at a goal that you set some time ago when you were excited and you were able to hold on to willpower as the thing that kept you going, and you notice that that engine is starting to run out, that's what we're going to talk about today, because it's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're not motivated. It's not that you don't have enough willpower. All of that is a lie. There's a reason that we're failing, but it's not our willpower. And I mean, I get it. I haven't done episodes for the last 2 weeks. Jill, I was saying, right? Because first week my daughter was sick. Last week I lost my voice. You can still hear I don't have my voice. And I actually have my daughter here with me today. But it's about just showing up imperfectly. It's about doing the things that we know that we gotta do, even when life isn't perfect. So I totally get it. But one of the big differences, one of the things that we're going to talk about today is how to dismantle that myth, what's really keeping us stuck. And then by the end of this episode, we're going to also know how to rebuild our habits so that we actually create sustainable success.
Ooh, and, how do we start with this sustainable success? Because, we hear so much about willpower, right? And I was reading that maybe it's a scam.
Yep. Okay. So the thing about willpower is it's finite. Okay. And this is actually something used in business all the time. I'm going to talk about grocery stores. So have you noticed that the grocery store is like the first thing you see when you walk in is like the fruits and the vegetables, and then in the middle of every grocery store is where all the packaged goods are, right? Typically towards the end is where they have all the temptations. And the reason that they do this, right? That's why there's the candies there, the junk food's there, the tabloids are there. They know that by the time that you get to the very end, to the checkout line, you've lost all your willpower. Because walking through that grocery store, you make so many tiny decisions on what to buy, what to skip, whether to get organic. By the time that you hit the checkout aisle, you're defenseless. You've used up all your willpower. That's why you end up buying the candy bar, or why those tabloids with Taylor Swift's name on it all of a sudden call out to you in that last second. You see this too, in different stores. I was thinking about Ross, or some of the discount stores. You'll notice that right at the end, they make you walk through a long line, right? And there's all these options of last minute things to just grab. And the reason that they do that is because they know that by the time that you get there, you've made so many decisions, you're exhausted. You're more likely to make a snap decision that feels indulgent. So willpower has an expiration date. It's finite. It's not a character trait. It's a battery that drains every single time that we use it. Every single time we make a good decision, we're losing a little bit of that willpower. So when we rely on willpower for success, we're setting ourselves up to fail. our brain is going to is always going to be wired to conserve energy. That's not laziness. But what that means is that we're not built to hustle 24/7. And that's why when we rely on willpower, we're fighting our biology. So it's really not, willpower is a scam. It's not something that we need to rely on more. What we really need are better systems that remove that need for
Yeah.
willpower in the first place.
My goodness. All right, we're going to remove those steps. By the way, I didn't even tell everyone how to contact you. Could you share?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at Diana Bejasa Speaks on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can also find my website, Savor Life with Diana, SAVOR, lifewithdiana.com.
Perfect. And I got something in my eye. I apologize for that. We'll continue the conversation, of course, while I try to get it out. Ow, ow, ow. Where were we, darling? And excuse me again.
Yeah, so when willpower is not the issue, right? We want to look at like why do we keep doing then the same self-sabotage? Like we want to look at this like deeper pattern. And like I said,
Hi.
today we got my daughter with me. Not ideal. Usually I try to have her have a visit with her dad at this time, but this one decided not to sleep last night, so she's here with me this morning.
I get it. Hi, beautiful.
And it's really about just like showing up even when it's hard, right? So the thing that I want to talk about is self-abandonment, how we get stuck in this, because us continually breaking promises to ourselves leads us to not trust ourselves. So, Jill, I imagine you can think of a friend who you have, and if you're listening, I want you to think about a friend, who always makes promises, like plans with you. They're like gonna do all these things, but every single time they cancel.
That's my sister.
So if
Yeah.
your sister, right? At first you give him grace, right? Like you give her grace, you're like, okay. But by the 10th time, you stop believing her, right? You're not even putting it on your calendar.
No.
And the thing is, that's what we're doing to ourselves every single time we set a goal and then we don't follow through. So whenever we don't follow through, it's basically like we're in an abusive relationship with ourselves.
Wow.
Right? Where we're continually telling ourselves, yes, I'm going to do this thing. Yes, I'm going to do this thing. And we keep lying. And we know deep down inside that it's a lie. So what happens here is that we start to lose trust in ourselves, right? And as we lose trust in ourselves, that's the real problem. It's not that we don't have the willpower. It's that we're continuing to not be trustworthy to ourselves. We wouldn't trust a friend who's going to flake on us constantly, right? So we can't expect ourselves to trust ourselves when we keep doing it to ourselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So every time we say, I'll start Monday, right? I'll start tomorrow, I'll start next month, and you don't, you're just training yourself and your brain to expect failure.
Mm-hmm.
So like, every time, and I'm guilty of this too, right? And it's why like I think it's just as much about like walking in the walk, right? Like I had to cancel the last 2 shows because life got in the way. But if I keep canceling, I'm training my brain to think that that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Right. And like every single time I say, and life does get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely human. I'm here like right now talking to you. I'm nursing at the same time, right? Like life gets in the way.
It does.
But we gotta give ourselves grace. But at the same time, right? Like just like you give your sister grace, but at the same time, if she's constantly doing it, at some point you're just like, I don't even trust her at all.
Wow.
So we got to rebuild that self-trust. We gotta begin to recondition ourselves so that we can start to believe that our commitments actually matter. So if you want to trust yourself again, the way that we do that is not by making these massive promises anymore. Like we don't believe our massive promises anymore. And like, I think about that a lot when it comes to like betrayal, because like, because of what happened for me in my marriage, right? It's like, if I want to rebuild trust, and I'm talking about self-trust here, like it's really easy when you've experienced betrayal to not want to trust again.
So true.
To not feel like you could ever trust again, right? But the thing is that you can start to rebuild trust, but you got to do it in small ways. You got to do it consistently. And you got to know that it's not about doing these like huge things like one time. It's about like showing up consistently every single day in little ways so that you can begin to rebuild that trust in time.
Got it. Well, you say you get stuck in self abandonment. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I feel that. I've been there. Eee. Ooh. And we always talk about, unfortunately, what we do. And, we need to be unstuck. And obviously, it's not easy. And we've all gone through things, but not everyone can get through alone. And the truth is, it's harder alone. It's those of us that can do it. But you mentioned this loyalty to past losses, right? Like, does that mean we're bringing it up all the time? Are we like kind of stuck in thinking about the losses, then therefore kind of, vision boarding them into our lives again? What are we trying to say about that?
We, I'm sure you also know this person who's still telling the same story from like 5 years ago. Like every single time you see them, they're talking about like what happened 5 years ago, or maybe they're talking about like what happened in their childhood. And it's like they don't let go of the story. And so, as much as they are a new person today,
Yeah.
they are still being defined by that story. And I kind of think of it like, um, okay, and I'm totally guilty of this, but like holding on to a pair of jeans that doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you have like this old pair of jeans. I remember like when I was in college, I held on to this pair of jeans from like high school that I'd had, and I loved these jeans. They didn't fit anymore, and I would like try to pull, I'd squeeze, I'd squat, like do all the jumps that uh, we as women can sometimes do. But no matter what, like they're tight, they're not comfortable. And that I think is sometimes like what we're doing with our past. It's like it's not comfortable, it's not what we want anymore, but we like idealize it or we like romanticize it, or part of it still feels comfortable, so we're like wishing that we still fit in it, and so we're walking around in these jeans that don't fit us anymore, that aren't comfortable anymore,
So true.
and like and trying to
Yep.
force ourselves basically into an old version of ourselves instead of accepting the version of us that's available right now.
Ah. Ah. Well, I love your insight on this, how you're helping and working with people. And I just want to remind everyone, if you are tuning in, how we can contact you.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. It's Diana Bejasa Speaks, so DianaBejasa Speaks. Or you can find my website, savorlifewithdiana.com. That's SAVOR
Love it.
lifewithdiana.com.
Well, you always teach us so many educational things and point of views. And we've been talking for, I think this is our like 20th episode or almost 20th episode or something.
Almost,
But you
yeah.
always have great topics that I feel are really resonating and helping people all over. And we did the gift of falling apart. I remember that one. But there's always something on the agenda. And today we are talking about trusting her in a sense, or trust me, right? Your willpower isn't the problem. Willpower is a scam, stuck in self abandonment, loyal to past losses. So, what else did you want to enhance on with this topic today?
Yeah. Well, it was very tricky with the title, right? It's Trust Me. And
Got
the
it.
point is like
Yes.
trust yourself.
Self.
Like
Uh huh.
you need to trust yourself. You need to, and like you got to see how we've built this system where we stop trusting ourselves. Like so when we look at these goals that we have, that we've set this goal before and we
Yep.
still haven't achieved it, and it's like it's something, there's a part of us that no longer believes it's possible,
I
right?
know.
There's a part of us that believes like it's okay, here we go again, pretending that this is going to happen. And part of it is that like we know that there are some things that we need to do and we're just refusing to do it.
Oh,
We're just not willing, right? We're not doing what we know that we need to do. Um, and so my suggestion here, my invitation for you, for me, because again, I'm not this like on high guru who knows everything, right? Like I'm literally walking through. I'm a single mom. I'm healing from my own divorce and betrayal and all these different things. Um I'm experiencing like what it can be like to feel burned out as a parent, and working and all these different things. So I'm not here to say that I've got it perfect, but what I've found is that I've gained tools and skills over time that help me accelerate my process out of getting stuck. to get to the other side faster. And so for people who want something like that, for people who don't want to
Yep.
feel stuck here for decades, if you want to turn this place that you're in, even if you've been here for decades, if you want to get out of it in days, that's what I can help with is, like showing you like it's possible, showing you that even if you have a sick little baby, you're sick yourself, didn't sleep much last night, you can still show up and still, be authentic and do what matters to you. And that's what this is about. So getting that loyalty to past losses, right? We talked a little bit about the genes. Sometimes we look at these past losses, these failures, and we say that they're proof that we can't succeed, right? Like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I tried that before. This didn't work. This didn't work, right? And the thing is, our brain is actually addicted to certainty. It's addicted to patterns. So even though we consciously don't want that again, there's
Mm-hmm.
a part of us that likes that certainty, right? Even when the certainty is failure. So the thing about it is like we're not meant to fit into those old jeans,
I know.
right? They're out of style anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
good point.
they
Good
have
point. Things
holes in
change.
them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's no longer who we are. It's no longer who we really want to be. And the invitation here is to stop trying to shrink back into the past when we're meant to grow bigger, right? Like instead of being loyal to our past losses, when we're loyal to the past, we're not being loyal to who we can become. We're not being loyal to the person who's right there in front of us now, right? We're shrinking the version of ourselves who we can be right now in favor of this person who we've been in the past, in favor of talking about the story of the hurt and the betrayal and and this didn't work out and this happened to me and all of us have a this happened to me, and it's just a matter of how long we want to stay stuck in it,
Yeah.
because all of us have something, all of us have a reason, and there's two different kinds of people at the end of this year. There's going to be people with reasons and there are going to be people with results. And if you don't want to end up with just reasons, you gotta break that loyalty to the past losses, because you're ultimately betraying. Sorry, this little
It's
girl.
okay. It's okay.
You're basically betraying yourself. You know what I mean? She found the buttons to move the
Of
the
course. It's so cute.
table, so we're gonna get her down
No
so that
problem. No
she.
problem.
Oh, she's so much fun.
I
Um,
get it.
yeah. So it's about
Yeah,
it's
mine
about
turned
this
8 today.
betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I saw your post. Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
thank you. My
Oh.
son is 8. Oh, my other one's 10, and it goes so quick. And I
Oh,
love because like the memories pop up on your phone, you'll see, right? And then it's like a year, like
yeah,
then two
yeah.
years, then 3, and it's like, oh my goodness. And I honestly have to say, in life in general, I
Mhm.
feel there's something for those out there who have had children. There's something that really changes your whole thought process and perspective. And it's something you just don't know until and if you become a parent. It's you really, I mean, I think everything in your mind changes, right? And now you have little ones to protect, right? And you need to better yourself because you're the one that has to take care of your babies, right? Unless you have full time nannies, you know what I mean. But really, we need to be responsible and to learn how to trust in ourselves because now you have to set an example for Olive and me and Austin and Jackson, right? We have to set examples and help them and a lot of pressure with parenting. That's a whole nother episode we could talk about another time.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and like in ways, talking about being a parent, we're modeling for them how to
Exactly.
achieve their goals. And so if willpower hasn't been working for you, why are you still trying it again this year? Like why are you doing it again this time? Like you have a pattern and you see it and you know it's not working, but you're so convinced that no, I just have to like push harder. And the thing about it here too, I think, is this willpower addiction, right? When we're going for our goals, it's basically rooted in shame, right?
Hmm.
Because what happens is we have this willpower, it lasts for a little bit of time, right? Again, willpower is finite. So once it doesn't last and we lapse, all of a sudden we're mad at ourselves, right? We're shaming ourselves for not being good enough, and we're beating ourselves up, and that can be actually part of the pattern that we're addicted to is beating ourselves up, not feeling good enough, um, proving to ourselves, see, you can't do it. no matter what you do, no matter what you try, it doesn't work. And as much as that reality is like not necessarily who we want to see, at the same time, like I was saying, it's comfortable. And our
Yeah.
brain likes that certainty of like, yep, you can't do it again. See, I proved you wrong. Like I proved myself right that you can't do it. And so if you really want to prove yourself wrong, if you really want to be able to say like, yeah, like I was there and now I'm here. Um, Part of that, I think, you can absolutely do it on your own, but part of getting there faster is doing it with somebody who's been there, right? And in many ways, you know, I've I've experienced life and turned them into catalysts for transformation. And that's
Yeah.
what I believe we can do when we're burned out, well, when we're going through trauma, when we're going through heartbreak. When our world breaks, I see fertile soil for a breakthrough, and it's my honor that I get to walk my clients through that.
My goodness. And the programs that you offer to get people through this stuff, could you just talk a little bit about that? And of course, how, coaching with you, coaching with someone can help benefit anyone out there that's listening.
Yeah. So, firstly, I do want to agree. Like, yes, coaching with anybody is beneficial because just having somebody who knows what your goals are, like, there's something that kicks you in the pants. It's like, oops, I know that Jill is going to check in with me. I know that Diana's going to check in with me about this, so I better get it done. So there is that value just inherently in getting any coach.
Yeah.
Now, there are different things though that set different coaches apart, right? And one of the things that I love about when I work with my clients, like I'm very much a systems person, right? Like before I ever did any of this work, I never imagined I would be doing this work because I'm like
Mm-hmm.
the person who likes to be in the back and like create the thing that the machine that just runs.
Yeah.
Um, and once my clients do this with me once, what they find is that they have the power and the strength and the skills to do it again. And that's why, like, when my 10-year marriage imploded, when I found out I was pregnant and I was going to be a single mom, like I didn't know like how I was going to get through that, but I knew I had the tools to get through that. So my clients, once they go through one challenge with me, they have this set of tools that they know that if they just apply it in a systematic order, they will get to the end. They will get the results that they want. So even in the midst of the uncertainty, they know that they're working with a formula. And the formula, it starts with our thoughts, right? So it's a recalibration of our thinking, working with a vision, noticing the places where our vision is out of alignment with the real thoughts and beliefs that we have. And then in the second phase, really working with different forms of energy psychology for healing so that any of those subconscious beliefs, any of those things that we believed for decades, like, oh, see, I can't do this. See, no matter what I
Yeah.
do, this doesn't work. This is where they see like massive breakthroughs where things that seem to have taken decades change in months. And then in the last phase, the last part of the formula, after we've addressed our thoughts and our feelings, is to address our actions. And a lot of times, this is where I see people start is again, with the willpower, right? It's like, oh, I'm just going to take action. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to keep doing that. And what we see is that because we never bother to fix the thoughts and the feelings, the actions don't ever stay sustainable. They're not aligned. So what we do instead, once we've built more trust with ourselves by creating this vision, adhering to it, beginning to see and experience that healing, then we get into calibrating the action. And it's not that we're not taking action the entire time. It's that this is the point where it's as if like I don't know how an engine works, but it's like we cleared out all the first beginning of the path, and now we're ready to like hit the gas and really go. So this is like I think of it like pouring like rocket fuel all over your dreams. So you do this like priming work to get you to that place, and then all of a sudden you're ready to just take off like a rocket ship.
Wow.
And so it's using techniques that have served lots of different people, the Henry Fords of the world, the Thomas Edisons of the world, along with AI, because I believe in I'm a tech nerd. I like that stuff. So I combine all the tools that I've seen that have helped me when I have no time, when I have no energy, in my day-to-day life. Like these are the tools that I've found, and you just get an accelerated path, shortcut instead of having to figure it out yourself, so that you can get to where you really want to go faster And you get to do it with a mentor who you know is walking with you along that path. So I'm not there to tell you, like, oh, this is how it's got to be. I'm there to say, okay, this is the work we're doing together today. And having somebody like that who's been down the path before and who's walking down it with you, like, it's just so meaningful. So if somebody wants to experience that, the best way to start that is to book a consultation call with me. You can find that link on my website, savorlifewithdiana.com, SAVOR, lifewithdiana.com. And it's, if you're done spinning in circles, right? If you're done feeling stuck, if you really want to know how to break through it, that's where we're going to start to create a strategy that's custom for you. So again, this is like, let's stop relying on willpower. It obviously doesn't work. You have lots of proof of that. Let's instead build self-trust. Let's build systems that are actually proven and reliable and repeatable so that you can get results this time, but you can also do it next time and every other single time that you're ready to take it to the next level.
Got it. Oh, well, thank you. Always a pleasure having you here and Olive today. And I'm also hoping you feel better and you're getting through, and we'll be next week. You'll be fully recovered and feeling better. Okay.
Airliner can be seen.
Yes. Yep. And it's just, let's show up. Let's do the things.
Yeah.
Let's not be afraid to keep moving forward as imperfectly as it may be.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And as always, great speaking with you. Thank you, Diana. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thanks, Jill. I'll see you next week.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.